mysteries of creation are there.
In the sky. Up in the sky.
The moon and the planets are there. And new hopes for knowledge and peace are there.
Hello and welcome to Your Inner Journey Weather Forecast, in which we utilize archetypal astrology to understand the energies in the collective this week, as well as illuminate our psychedelic journeys and other inward explorations that we experience this week. The week of April 25th to May 2nd. And this week we have the sun crossing the Saturn-Uranus square in the sky, actually the sun and the moon, because we have a full moon this week right on the Saturn-Uranus square in the sky. What does that mean? The Saturn-Uranus square is the larger outer planet trends that we're experiencing that has to do with reconciling Uranian freedom with Saturnian restraint and constraint and tradition and structure. And so when the sun crosses that, particularly during a full moon, it lights it up. It brings it more, that energy comes more to the fore this week of our collective experience and also of our personal experience. For instance, in Inner Journeys, our sense of identity and life mission can dovetail into this exploration of how we can reconcile freedom and structure. So Uranian freedom, pioneering, inventiveness, even recklessness, even excitement, and Saturnian soberness, tradition, structure, discipline. We want to leave our space of mindful presence open, that these seemingly opposing energies want to find a new, interesting way to integrate in our lives this week. And we want to allow this because if we are not aware of it, or if we are either too Uranian or too Saturnian, we can experience a break. Something can break because the tension between structure and freedom can be, especially in a tense alignment like a square, can be so tense that it can cause things to break. So we want to find a new way to integrate the Uranian Icarus energy, flying close to the sun, being pioneering, but also the Saturnian soberness, precaution, tradition, groundedness. The Icarus story, he flew too close to the sun, he wasn't grounded, and the sun melted the wings and he came down to the earth, and Saturn manifested as a fall and a crash and a suffering. And so we want to integrate Saturn actually beforehand as being cautionary, for instance, in our inner journeys, being very sober, cautionary, prepared, listening to things like this to prepare us. And even in a larger sense, responsibility, integrating responsibility, so that when we are free, when we are manifesting an excitement, a vacation energy, a freedom energy, we know that we've done what we needed to do to address the responsibilities and the groundedness in our life, the Saturn side of our life. People born with this energy, Joe Theismann, the famous football player in the 1980s, he demonstrated one of the challenging sides of this combination because he was known as this very Sun-Uranus pioneering kind of standout individual in the field of football. And then he experienced a break, which was his leg broke, and it broke on TV, and it was very graphic. Everybody could see the bone break. And so he became known, his identity, the sun, became known in a more Saturnian way for the break, for the constraint, the limitation imposed upon him by that break, the negation, and then also, and the suffering. And so that's an example of how these energies can be in tension and cause breaks. Another example of somebody who's born with this energy is actually the musician Sting. And he composed a song called Englishmen in New York, which is a good example of how we want to let these energies reconcile in our lives, and with a Uranian twist. They want to reconcile always in a new way. Whenever they meet, they want to recognize in a new way of reconciling freedom and structure, and the pioneering and the traditional. And so he has a song called Englishmen in New York, in which he is the pioneering one. He's the Sun Uranus. He's gone abroad. He lives in New York. He's pioneering, but he is a standout, a Sun Uranus kind of standout individual in New York because he's traditional. He drinks tea instead of coffee. He's English. He's traditional. He's kind of like got an English culture that's a little bit more reserved. That's Saturnian. The tradition, the reserve, that's Saturnian. And so there's a line in there, he says, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien. So an alien can be Sun Uranus because we're such a standout, such a pioneering energy that we can be seen as alien. We don't follow with the crowd, but he's a legal alien. That brings in Saturn. He's taken the structures, he's integrated into the structures and done his precautionary everything, all the work that he needed to do to, fit within the laws. So Saturn, Uranus. So that's what we're dealing with this week. That's what we are integrating this week. That's what is moving through us as a collective and also within us personally in our inner journeys. I wish you very fruitful inner journeys and a very illuminated week with archetypes reconciling themselves in unique ways that are so productive for you in your life. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.